right. Well, I guess welcome to the Intro to Natural Family Planning. So, Lisa have asked me and my wife, Dacia here. My name's John Rolando. It's my wife, Dacia.
Dacia, hi.
To come and I guess tell you our story, our background, and why we use NFP and how it came about that we eventually became natural family planner instructors. So we were married in March of 2004.
And when we went through all the Diocese of Phoenix marriage prep requirements, which at the time just included attending the NFP Intro class. And we went into it with the attitude thinking that this was just kind of a hoop that we had to jump through.
Yeah, check mark.
Yeah, so the list of things they make us do, but it wasn't anything we really were planning to take seriously going into the class. And then I think our backgrounds kind of came into play during the class. At the time, I was a software engineer. I worked for a bunch of different companies, but until our son, the last job I had before our son was born was I worked for Cisco Systems as a software engineer. So, and John's an engineer for Honeywell as well. So, we kind of saw these charts and realized there was science behind NFP where we previously had believed a lot of the stereotypes that were out there and the misrepresentations about what NFP actually is.
And we still even get that to this day, and that's hopefully something that you're going to get out of the class is what NFP is, but also what NFP isn't, because we'll still tell people that, yeah, we practice natural family planning, and one of the first questions that they'll ask is, oh, well, when are you going to be pregnant? Because they automatically associate that with it. So it's definitely a method to it, a very scientific method to it, which you learn in the full class series, and which we highly recommend taking, obviously.
And like John said, the reaction that you always get is, oh, you must have a really big family, or you don't really care how many children you have. And I think our story is unique because to us it very much matters. And not in the sense that we wouldn't love a big family, but we have some medical problems that could complicate a pregnancy.
Right, so in June of 2006, our son Zeke was born. Actually 29 weeks gestational age, so 11 weeks prematurely. So he's considered a micro-preemie.
And I actually spent a week in the hospital prior to his birth. I started going into labor, which wasn't actually identified at 24 weeks. But it wasn't until 28 weeks that somebody figured out that was what was going on. And so I was in the hospital, and a week later he came early. And we had 8 weeks at Phoenix Children's Hospital, and it was a very scary time. And on my release from the hospital, while Zeke was still in the hospital, they basically told us, all the doctors told us, that if we were to get pregnant within the first year of his birth, that we were pretty much guaranteed another preemie, and that preemie would most likely be more premature than Zeke. And 29-weekers generally suffer some long-term issues. It's a very varied case, but at the time we had no idea how it was going to happen with Zeke. So we had very strong motivation that we could not get pregnant again, at least for another year. And realistically longer, because they said even after that year, the chances that I'll have another premature baby are, depending on which doctor, 1 in 2 or 1 in 3. So we're looking at basically a 30 to 50% chance that I'm going to spend more time in the hospital. I could end up in bed at home, which means caring for Zeke, he's got to be old enough that he can take care of himself a little bit more. We can, if I have to stay in bed all day, John can put some snacks in the fridge, and he can go and open the fridge and get them and have a sandwich in there or things like that. So we have to really seriously plan our family for not selfish reasons, but to look out for the welfare of our whole family, including future children, and giving them the best possible opportunity for good health.
And that's really one of the main takeaways from the intro class, is that it's, and from the natural family planning in general, is that the diocese, the Catholic Church really does want to stress responsible parenthood, and natural family planning is a way to achieve that.
Yeah. So, just Zeke's doing great now, and he has no long-term issues, which all the doctors one of the main neonatologists at Phoenix Children's Hospital says that he's his miracle preemie that forgot he was a preemie. So we're very grateful to God for that, but you know,
Very blessed.
yeah, we have to do what we can to keep the blessings coming.
So I think that's probably about it. So I guess enjoy the class, and certainly you got a great instructor here about to present the material to you. And all I think anybody's can ask for you is to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
We did when we took our intro class.
I guess that's one thing that we didn't say is that, for us, when we were looking at the intro, one of the things that occurred to me is that I was actually on the birth control pill for 10 years. My parents put me on it when I was 16, and I was on it up until when we got married, because we took the class in February, the intro in February, and we got married in March. So as soon as we got back from our honeymoon, that's when we went through the full series. It was like 2 weeks after we got back. So we actually went through as a married couple for the full series to learn NFP.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that really jumped out at me when they were talking about is the fact that here we are trying to live a healthy lifestyle, exercising regularly, eating really well, trying to put healthy things into our bodies, and every day, here I am putting artificial chemicals and hormones into my body and not even thinking twice about it. And that was one thing that kind of jumped out at me. And the spiritual stuff, and God and the Holy Spirit didn't work in us until much later. It was one of my initial draws to NFP was just the health factor. And with that, we have found a lot more grace in our marriage. And if you had asked me when I was sitting in the intro if I would ever talk about my marriage in that way, I would have laughed in your face. But it has done wonderful things in terms of us and our spirituality and how we find God together.